What is going on, fellow developers? My name is Tyler Potts, and in today's video we're going to be getting started with our first PHP application. So the first thing we're going to need to start off this is a local web development server. Now the reason we need one of these is because PHP is a server-side language, meaning we can't run it by just opening it up in our browser. We actually need a server-side renderer like Apache or Nginx to actually run our PHP server for us. So to do that, we need to download Mamp, or you can choose anything else. Just Mamp is the one I go to use. So as you can see here, we've got Mamp and Mamp Pro. You can download it for Mac or Windows. I suggest using the latest version of 6.3 if you're going for that. I'm currently using version 4.5, but only because I have a Mamp Pro license and I can't use a later version without paying for it. But you can download this one for free yourselves if you're wanting to get started on that. So once you've got that installed, downloaded and installed, you'll probably get a window like this. It may look a little bit different, but primarily it should be the same. Now what you need to do to get started is you need to create a new directory. I've called mine PHP YouTube, and then in Mamp we can go up to Mamp Preferences, and we can actually go on our ports. Now whatever these ports are what your ports are going to be set to. I set mine as default. You could also set them as the web and MySQL ports, but for me I'm just going to set them to the default one. You need to then go to web server and choose either Apache or Nginx. I prefer Apache, so I'm going to use Apache. You can then choose document root, and you can click it here. It's going to open up your file browser, and you can look for which directory you need. Now we're going to be using this PHP YouTube one, so I'm going to click select and hit OK. So now once you've set that all up, you can literally just hit start, and this is going to open up the web start page over in your browser, as you can see here. And to basically get to our actual website, what we need to do is delete this Mamp part afterneath and just use localhost 888 or whatever your port you chose. Hit enter, and you can see we get index_. Now the reason we're seeing that is because we have nothing in our directory, so it's just showing us the index. So what we need to do is actually create an index.php file. Hit enter, and in here we can write literally just HTML. So in here we can just write in here like this, and we can just say learn PHP, and in our body we could just have a H1 which says hello. Hit save, refresh, and there you go. We've got a simple application already set up. But you're probably wondering, what's the point of that? There's no point. Well, in PHP we can set up variables, we can set up loads of different things. So let's create a name and say equal to Tyler, and now down here we can say hello exclamation mark, and we can run PHP inside here, and we can use a command called echo, and we can pass the variable name. So as you can see here, the variable is declared by using a $sign and then whatever the variable name is. You could say $last name, etc. Like that, and just set it equal to a string, or you can even set it equal to an array, or if you want to use the if you're from JavaScript, you can use the JavaScript sort of syntax there. But you just set it using a $sign, which basically says that this is going to be a variable. So we get it here, we set it equal to Tyler, and then we're echoing it out. So what happens when we refresh? You can see it says hello Tyler. Perfect. We can actually also do other things. So we can use a dot, and we can add like Tyler, and now I can put a space in pots. No reason why, but this is how you concatenate two strings. Instead of using a plus sign like you do in JavaScript, you can use a dot and basically concatenate or add strings together. You could also just use the PHP, and outside here we can put space pots, and there you go. But it also comes up with it there, although I don't know why you would do that. That is not a smart way to do it. So in this video we're actually going to set up a sort of to-do app, but first we're going to set up a little login thing. So we're going to use our name. So to do that we're going to do a PHP if statement. So we're going to say if, and in here we could say something such as if name is not equal to null, but PHP has a built-in function for this which is called isSet, and basically if whatever variable you pass through is not equal to null, this will return true. And then PHP, and we can do an end if here. So when you use an if statement, you can use two things. You can either use brackets like you do here, and where your end if is, you can do an exclamation mark, and then in between here we can have some markup. Let's say PHP echo name. So all echo does is prints a string, and this will still work. You can see it says Tyler. Or you can use something else, which is this. So you can see you can use the colon, and then you could do an end if written like that, which is my preferred method to do it like this. So it still works the exact same. You can also, in here, we can do a PHP else statement, also using a string straight after this one. And then in here, we could have a h1 login, for example. So now if we refresh, you can see it still says Tyler, but if we just delete this, you can see nothing appears because it's still not equal to null. So if we set this equal to null, we should now see login. And as you can see, login right there. Now we need a form. We need to create a form underneath this login. So we're going to say form, and we're going to have a method on this, which is going to be equal to get. And then inside this form, all we're going to do is we're going to have a label, and it's just going to be equal to name. In here, we'll just say, what is your name, question mark. And then we could have an input of type text, which is going to have the name of name and the ID of name. Here, which we can hit save. And if we refresh, you can see what is your name, and we get this little field we can enter our name in. Underneath this, we can have another input, which is of type submit with the value of save name, for example, or even login if we're classing this as an actual login. It's not an actual way of logging in. This is just a unsecure way of logging in. What is your name? And we could put our name in here, say Tyler, and hit login. Now you'll see nothing's actually happened, but you will notice that in the browser or in the URL bar, you can see there's this now query string, which is question mark name, which is the name of the input we used, which is equal to the value we gave it, which is Tyler. So what can we even do with that? Is there anything you can do that? Well, in fact, in PHP, you could actually get your name here, and we can do a $_get. Now, what this stands for is when we submit a form, we're passing through a query parameter up here, which can be grabbed in PHP using this get parameter here. And now, in our get, we could just say name. So we're going to get the name parameter, so question mark name, and we're going to set it to our name variable. So now if we refresh, nothing works. But if we say Tyler and we click login, you can see it's now given us our name, and now we're logged in. We're actually seeing the actual login name. So we could actually put here welcome and then give it our name, refresh, and as you can see, we're logged in. Now, as you can see, we're actually logged in. It doesn't matter if we refresh the page, it's logged in because this query parameter is sat at the top here. Now we can delete this and go back to the login screen, and we can give it a different name. For example, we can say Tyler Potts, login, and there you go. We've got our name all set in. So we've got our name. Now how do we actually print a to-do list? Well, to do that, we're going to need a post form. So we're going to need a new form, or actually in here, let's just do a form. We're going to have the method, which is equal to post. So we're not going to use a get this time. We're going to use a post method because we're going to be posting to our area. And we're going to do an input, which is going to be, we're going to use a label first. Should I say a label, which is going to be for to do. And inside the label, we're going to say what's on your to-do list, question mark. Hit save, and then in our input, I'm just going to do a type of text, which is going to be named to do with an ID of to do. Hit save, refresh, and there you go. We've got what's on your to-do list. Now let's give it a button as well of submit, and the submit will be save, refresh, and there you go. We've got a save button too. So we've got what's on your to-do list, save. So now if we posted something here, we could say test, clicked save, and as you can see, it's just disappeared. And there's nothing in our query parameter this time because it's been a post request, so it's actually hidden. So you can't actually see it up in the URL bar here. Now what we're going to need to do is in our PHP, we can do new to do is equal to $_, and this time instead of using get, we can use post. And in here, we could pass through the name we did, which was to do. And then we can actually do something called a var dump, which just allows us to drop any variable or anything we put in here which has a type to it can be used in here to just be displayed, and it will tell you what sort of type it is, if it's an array, if it's a string. So now if we refresh, or let's just reload the page by just refreshing. You can see it's far dumped null because we haven't actually posted anything yet. So let's post get milk. As you can see, it said our post request has now given a string of get milk, which means we now have a new string called get milk, which is awesome. But how do we put this in an array? Well, let's actually create an array here. So let's say an array, or we're going to call this to-dos, is equal to a new array. So as you can see there, we'll just check in. We've got an array, so we'll just set in the array. And all we're going to do here is now we're going to say if, we're going to say new to-do, and we're going to say is set, like we did for our if statement down here. This time we're going to use curly braces. If I'm using anything with functional programming, I use the curly braces. If I use anything that prints stuff like HTML, I will use the semicolon method. I think it keeps stuff split up and looks good. You can do whatever you want. That's totally up to you. So in our array, we're going to say, oh, sorry, we're going to do an array push. So there's a function built into PHP where we can say our to-dos. So we pass through our array, and then we pass through the new to-do we want to add, which is going to be to-dos. And then once we've pushed that down in our login form, we can have a UL, and we can create a ULI, and we're just going to var dump for now. So let's just say PHP var dump, and we can say to-dos. Save, refresh, or refresh it from start. See, you can see it's now showing we've got an array of nothing. But if we now say milk, hit enter, you can see we've now got milk in our array. So let's add something else. Let's say bread. But you can see it hasn't added to our array. It's actually just replaced our array with a new one of bread. Now the reason being is because we're not actually, all we're doing here is we're creating a new array every single time we run this post or load this web page. And we're just replacing our old array. Now what we need to do, we need to create a new array. But what we need to do is we actually need to get these save to do. So what we can do is down in our form here where we submit our new to do, we can create an input of type hidden, and we can give it a name. A name, there we are. A name equal to to-dos, but we're going to pass through an array here. So in PHP, what this is going to do, it's going to say this is a part of an array item. So if there's multiple of these, so to-dos, is actually going to bind it into one array called to-dos, which we can use in our post request. So up here we've got our to-dos, but we can't just use it like this. We actually need to loop through our to-dos list. So up here we're going to say PHP, and we can say for each. So this is how we can loop through an array, and we can say to-do, so we pass through our array, and then we can give it our value. So we can just say to-do. So for each to-dos as to-do, we can then, using the same method we did with the if, we can say end for each, ending it with a semicolon. And now so this is now going to print as many inputs as we have to do's. And inside of our value, we can just say PHP echo, and we can pass through to do. Just like that. And now that's going to add each time to our array. But we need to get our arrays from up here. So we need to say up here, we need to say saved to-dos is equal to $_post. And we can say to-dos. And now if we just var dump our saved to-dos, you can see we're just looping for our normal to-dos, and then we're going to just dump our to-dos. And here if we refresh, commit, you can see we get null. Let's just refresh this whole thing. And up here, let's just say test. So we just get a string of test. We still get null because this didn't have anything when we pushed it. But now if we say test and we add a second test, you can see we've now got an array with our test in it. We still don't have the second test coming through. The reason being is because we haven't set this to-dos to change. So now we need to just say if is set save to-do. So if we have some to-dos, we can say to-dos is equal to, we can say to-dos is equal to our saved to-dos. Else, we're going to create a new array. So as you can see here, all we're doing is we're getting the to-dos array, which we pass through by creating multiple input forms. And we're just going to check if it exists. And if it does exist, then we'll go use this. Else we're going to create a new array. And then we're going to push to our arrays. So let's refresh. Oh, let's cancel. Let's just refresh this page. And in here, I'm just going to say milk. There you go. We've got milk. Now let's say bread. As you can see now, the array is actually bigger. We get 2, which gives us milk and bread. And let's just say something else like beans. Everyone needs beans. Milk, bread, and beans. Probably should put cheese. And there you go, but it's been added. But this doesn't look very pretty. So what we can do is we can use the same method we did up here, the for each, and copy this. And inside of our LIs here, we can actually just do this. Go PHP end for each. Move this li forward. And instead of far dumping our to-dos, we can just echo a singular to-do. So now if we refresh, or we just, let's say if we just add something else to our list like yogurt, you can see it's now coming in a list form. So we get milk, we've got bread, we've got beans, we've got yogurt. We can add more things like walk dog. And as you can see, we've got our walk dog. So that is a really cool way to create a simple to-do list on this. Now we could actually clear our name here. So if we wanted to start again, we could just clear our name. There you go. And then we can log in again. Let's call ourselves Dave. Let's go say, welcome, Dave. What's on your to-do list? And we can just say milk. We just got milk. Nothing else, just milk. Walk cat. You know, everyone walks their cat. Swim in lake for no reason. And there you go. You can swim in a lake for no reason. There you go. For now reason. Sorry, I just completely messed up, but you know what I was trying to say. And there you go, guys. That is as simple as that. So PHP isn't as scary as everyone makes out. It's actually really simple to do stuff like this. Now, this is just basics. Now, if you want to see a lot more and want to get a lot better at writing PHP, and you want me to do more tutorials, then let me know in the comments down below, because that way I will know you guys like it, you want more of it, and I can create a lot more tutorial and content for PHP on actual advanced topics like classes, actually making a REST API with PHP, setting up like a full-on login system, a full-on proper to-do list, a full-on proper CRUD CMS system, whatever you guys want me to do, just let me know in the comments below and we will see if we can get that done. But for now, guys, thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. If you want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we post as often as we can. Daily at the minute, but it'll go back to weekly after January. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.